Hello, and welcome to the Advanced Qualtrics Experimental Design on-Demand workshop from American University's Center for Teaching, Research, and Learning. Qualtrics is an online survey platform that's available for all American University users. This advanced course will first cover the procedure for creating informed consent questions and then introduce 4 tools in Qualtrics that are particularly useful for creating experiments: survey flow, randomization, embedded data, and piped text. In this workshop, we will be covering how to create a question to obtain informed consent, creating and using advanced question types, altering survey flow, randomizing questions to respondents, using embedded data, and customizing the experience using embedded data. This course assumes that you have basic knowledge of the Qualtrics platform. If you still need some more help, then you will have to go to the beginning workshop for this tutorial that goes over the basics of Qualtrics and how to add questions and create a survey. The sample survey for this tutorial can be found in the same folder as the workshop materials. And this workshop also assumes that the viewer is familiar with the Institutional Review Board's policies and procedures for ethical research and ethical survey questions. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and open Qualtrics. I already have it pulled up, but when you sign into Qualtrics and open it, you will create a new survey, which will be in the top right-hand corner. There'll be a button that says Create New Survey, and you will create a new project. I've already loaded the project template and have it all ready to go just to save time, so that you can follow along with the questions that I have while you build your own survey. But that is how you will add that is how you will create your own survey when you open Qualtrics. Just hit the Create Survey option. So the first thing we're going to go over is obtaining informed consent and how to do that in your survey. We went over this in the beginning tutorial as well, but we're just going to cover it really quickly again in this tutorial. So for your first question, you will select text/graphic. That will allow you to type in or paste any informed consent document into here. That will just do the overview of your project, explaining the risk and any ethical concerns so that your viewers are aware, your respondents are aware of any potential concerns and any information they may need to consent to the project with full knowledge of any risk. And then go ahead and create a question after the informed consent text. You will make it a multiple choice question. And then, do you consent to participating in the survey? Yes or no. So for this question, since it's important for participation, I'm going to add requirement and I'm going to force response, so that they cannot skip this question. They have to answer it. And then I'm going to add a skip logic. So skip from this question to the end of survey if no is selected. So if they select no, they do not consent, it will skip to the end of the survey. I'm going to hit save and then skip to end of survey if no is selected. So with that simple skip logic, the basic skip logic, we have created informed consent where every single respondent has to say they consent to the survey before moving on to any other questions. So that's a good way to do informed consent, is providing all the information in a text option and then making a consent question. And then go ahead and hit add block. I already have the block with all the questions from the sample survey, but that's how you will add the next block. You'll just hit add block here at the bottom and go ahead and put in question 2 through 5 in the sample survey. If you would like more direction on how to do this, please see the Introduction to Qualtrics tutorial workshop. That will go over the basics of Qualtrics and how to create questions and different question types and how to format those questions with the different options on the menu bar to the left here. So please see that workshop if you need more guidance on how to add questions. So one of the first things we're going to go over now is how to do embedded data. So embedded data is a way to store information about a respondent in the background of Qualtrics. So the respondent is never aware of the embedded data existence. It just makes it so that you can randomly present questions to respondents with embedded data functions that are randomly assigned, and the respondent won't know that that is there, but the survey creator obviously will know that there is embedded data within the questions that we are testing for. So go ahead and scroll down to go ahead and add this question here. This question about which organization would spend your money most effectively. So for this question, we are going to have an embedded data field where respondents will be randomly assigned either $50 or $500. So to do that, we're going to use embedded data. We're going to click on survey flow, and after block 2, see in block 2, there are 4 questions, and you're going to hit, well, in your case, since you don't have the things already preset and preloaded, you will select add new element here after block 2. So you can hit add below and then select randomizer, this button right here. And then on randomizer, you would select add below as well, or add new element here, and then select embedded data. So since I've already done this, you can see it here. You will randomly present one of the following elements. And remember, when on your screen, when you're adding it, you have the option to hit embedded data. You would choose, oops, amount, and then you would do $50, and then add new element, embedded data, amount, oops, 500. And make sure you randomly present one of the following. You can evenly present elements. That just means they'll be evenly distributed between respondents. They'll be just as likely to get one as the other, and the survey will try to balance it out depending on how many respondents there are. Okay, so that is how to add the randomizer right beneath block 2. I'm going to go ahead and delete it just because I already have it and I don't need to, but this is what it should look like on your screen. You will add randomizer and then set embedded data. You'll have one for 50 and one for 500. Just remember to only present one of the following elements. You can also check to present them evenly as well and make sure it is under block 2. So we're going to go back to the survey questions now. And then go to where you've added that question. Here we are. Imagine that you have a blank that we're going to fill in to donate to one of the environmental organizations. Which organization would spend your money the most effectively? So we're going to use pipe text to pipe in the embedded data. So to do this, I'm going to take this out just so you can follow along. You'll hit pipe text, you'll hit embedded data field, and then you will select amount and then hit insert. And that should insert this little formula here, which just means that the blank will be filled in with the amounts that we've set in our embedded data field. So respondents will be randomly assigned one of those two amounts, and we can test to see if respondents answer differently if they have $500 or if they have $50 in their question. That's the point of embedded data. The respondent might not know that the embedded data is there, but we are testing to see if people answer questions differently depending on a variable embedded in the survey. So this means that you can easily group and analyze the data by the randomized embedded variable. So for example, in this question, you would be able to easily group and compare responses from people that had the 500 versus the 50 in their value in their question, and separate them out very easily to analyze the results and compare the differences in response depending on which number they were randomly assigned. So this is what your question will look like. This is the little formula that will be in the piped text field. And when you preview the survey, it should randomly assign one of those numbers. So next, we're going to move into another randomized experiment example. So if we go down to where we have the question about the Greenpeace mission statement. So if you look in the example survey, there's going to be two questions that are the same, but one will have the Greenpeace logo and one will not. They're the exact same. It's just the Greenpeace mission statement, except one has the Greenpeace logo. And to add this, you would just, after you type in the question, you would hit the content editor, and that would pop up here. And this allows you to paste or insert a file, insert media, anything like that. And you can add logos or files in that way. I'm going to click out though, since it's already in there. So you'll do this in two different blocks. One is a control block. You can name it here, and then you would hit add block and then do a treatment block. And that'll be the one with the Greenpeace logo. Okay, now that we have our treatment and control, now we're going to go to survey flow. And after block 1, sorry, after that block, we are going to add below again, and then hit randomizer. And then on the randomizer, you're going to select add new element here and select embedded data. And then we're going to select group and set that value at 1. And then we're going to repeat that and set that value at 2. And then we'll change the settings in the randomizer to only present one of the following elements. Again, you can evenly present the elements to make sure you're getting the same number of each. So it should look like this. I'm going to delete it just because I already had done it previously, but that's what it should look like. Okay. And then next, we're going to do add below again. And you can always move these around. And we're going to do, instead of selecting embedded data, we'll do the randomizer again, except we're going to select branching. And we'll add a condition, branch if the embedded data group is equal to 1. And then we're going to add another and then branch if embedded data group is equal to 2, and then hit OK. And then we would just select which block we were talking about. So show block control and show block treatment. So they will be randomly assigned one of the elements and then branched. If the group is randomly assigned to 1, we will go with the control. If the group is randomly assigned to 2, we will go to the treatment. And I'm going to delete this just because we already have it, but that is what it should look like. And then the one I have previously added is down here. So this is exactly what it should look like. Your randomizer will go first with setting the embedded data either to group 1 or group 2. And you will randomly present one of the following. You can present them evenly, just like the previous embedded data. And then after that, you'll branch it and it will go to the control if it's assigned to 1, and it will go to the treatment if it's assigned to 2. So this is what it should look like. Okay, now we're going to go back to our survey questions, and you can hit save changes or not. I'm just not going to save the changes since they're already in our survey, in my survey. So we're going to go over working with videos and images a little bit more. So if you go ahead and add your questions, I'm going to talk about adding a video into a survey or a link to a video. To add an image or a video or to change anything else in the formatting of a question, you would go to click on the content editor. For some reason, it's not coming up right now. There we go. So the content editor is right here, and that'll give you a bunch of formatting options. The toolbar at the top gives you the ability to embed videos and images. So here is a embed video link. If you hit this, you can embed a video in between these symbols. You just paste the link here. So you would just embed the video located at the web address into the question. To do that, you go to the video, click on share, and then get the embedded HTML data. And in Qualtrics, you would go to the content editor like I just did, and then select that embed video icon and paste the HTML code inside the editor here. So that's what this is. This is the HTML code for the embedded video. And then it will put the video into the question. So after that, you're gonna add a new question and change it to timing. So we would move that above the video so that it will allow us to know how long the respondent took to view that question to make sure that they actually watched the video and didn't just randomly answer the question. So to add timing to the video, you would just act like you're about to add a question, but instead of selecting multiple choice or any of the other questions, you would just select timing here. And then once it's selected, make sure you move it above the video so that it comes first, and then that will allow you to record how long the participant spends on that page. So the question, the timing in the description will not be displayed to the respondent, but it will record how long they took to view that page. So then after that, you can add a new block and add the question about how the video reflects how they're feeling. And then that should be one of the last things we're going over. One more thing before we get wrapped up with the tutorial is doing a quick display logic on the question, which of your interests do you feel are not being represented? We are only displaying this question if they selected strongly agree or somewhat agree to the previous question of a previous statement, my interests are not being represented. So to do that, you would just select the question, hit display logic, and then the previous questions, rate how you feel statements, my interests aren't being represented, and if strongly agree is selected, or the same question, my interests aren't being represented, somewhat agree is selected, and you can make it pop up in the same page and then hit save, and you'll have a display logic question here. And then the last thing that we're going to do is preview the survey to make sure all of this is working. So if we preview the survey, this is where our informed consent would be. Do you consent to participate in the survey? I'm going to hit no just to make sure it works. And it automatically put us at the end of the survey. So I'm going to restart it and hit yes instead. Okay, all of that looks good. I'm going to strongly agree to my interests aren't being represented. And this pops up. Same thing for somewhat agree. But once I don't select one of those, the box disappears. So it looks like that is going well. Imagine that you would have $50 to donate to one of the environmental organizations. That has randomly appeared instead of 500. So that looks good. And then this time we got the one without the Greenpeace logo for the mission statement. And this was just a simple slider. All right, and it looks like the video is embedded and the timer is there, but the timer will not be displayed to the recipient, so that sounds good. And then video reflects how I feel, okay. And then that's the end of the survey. I'm gonna restart it just one more time to see if we get any other. All right, so this time it's $500, so that's being evenly assigned. Great. Now we have the Greenpeace logo. And then the embedded video. Okay, perfect. So it looks like everything is working properly. So I'm going to close this part out. And thank you for watching the tutorial. I hope you found it helpful.